Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Tonight we find ourselves at what was once known as Hendricks Army Airfield, a training site for B-17 Flying Fortress and B-24 Liberator pilots, but for the last 73 years has been known by a very different name. The concrete that once withstood the pounding of giant airframes has been wreaking havoc on sports cars, both in sprint and endurance races, rattling loose every last nut and bolt and possibly some teeth for longer than almost any racetrack in North America. Welcome everyone to the Season 6 finale of Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics and Butt Kicker here on Racing TV. And welcome to Sebring International, where we've had 7 rounds this season, 3 continents, and some of the best GT3 and GTP racers around. I'm Greg Ginsberg, and joining me in the announce booth, as always, is Larry Lefty McLeod, along with John Robertson in the virtual production trailer, and we'll be bringing you all the views, all the action tonight here from Sebring. And so, good evening, Larry. And tonight we've got 3 championships still on the line as we come into our final event of the season, and our racers, they're going to have 75 minutes to sort it all out.
Yeah, they better get it sorted out. Good evening, Greg. Yes, they better get it all sorted out. This is championship night. This is where it's all on the line. We're giving away big prizes. We're giving away little prizes. We're going to do all the prizes tonight. But you've got to qualify well. You got to start the race well, and you got to keep your nose clean. But Sebring will beat you up if you don't. Personally, love this track. I love the way it flows. It races well. Obviously, for multi-class racing, it's about the best we've got in North America. And I think tonight we're going to show some of that. But I think the cream of the crop better rise to the top tonight if they want to win championships. Otherwise, there's going to be some folks sneaking in and winning prizes.
That's it, Larry, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the ramifications of the points and where we stand in those 3 different championships, GTP, GT3 AM, and GT3 Pro, in just a few moments. But why don't we turn things over, as we always do, to Kevin Ford. He's going to give us, for those of you who've never seen Sebring International Raceway before, and I can't imagine there's anybody here who hasn't, but we're going to turn things over to Kevin Ford. He's going to give us tonight's track guide of Sebring International Raceway.
Welcome, everyone, to Sebring International Raceway. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today around this 3.7-mile road course. That's right, nearly 4 miles is what it takes to get it done around this place. Well, let's get ready to get our lap started here. We'll head across the stripe. You'll notice our pit area to the right as we head down this front straightaway towards turn 1. Very fast entry here as this corner is full of speed. Right down to the wall here to get that rotation out of apex. Very bumpy coming off that corner. Heading down through 2 now, we'll get ready to hit our entry into turn 3, the 3-4-5 complex. Very tight through this section. Tough to overtake in this portion of the course. Coming up out of 5. We'll head around this slight bend here of 6. Take us out onto another little short chute here. You can see overtaking opportunities coming down into 7 here. Famous hairpin. Want to get a late rotation here so we can get that car to shoot right up through this section of corners here coming out. We'll head into Fangio. 8 and 9. This will take us down to Cunningham Corner. Heavy brake zone here. You will see some overtaking on entry here. But this corner is so bumpy. Trying to get power down off that exit is so difficult. We're going to head down to Tower Corner now. Heavy on the brakes. Late rotation here as well. Get right back to throttle, and we're right back to speed once again here. 2 double lefts coming up. Around the first one, around the second one here. No need to lift in this section. We'll come right back down on the brakes. Get ready for this right-hander here. 15, now into turn 16. Lamar curve and coming out onto the backstretch here, onto Almond Straight. Use up every bit of that exit to get some good speed as we head down this great overtaking opportunity here, heading down into Sunset Bend. A lot of varying surfaces here at this course, cement, asphalt. It creates quite a battle for these drivers here with all the undulation. Coming through Sunset, you're going to see this car getting bounced around like crazy. There you go. Look at that, just picking up all those little bumps and trying to get throttle down. Oh, it is a challenge here at Sebring International. What an amazing fast course. There you go. There's your track guide for Sebring International.
And thanks so much to Kevin Ford for tonight's track guide at Sebring International Raceway. And you know, Larry, that makes it 7 for 7 as opposed to Bobby Childs in the sports car series. Kevin did not crash the car once during the track guide. So,
a little round of applause there for Kevin.
Yeah,
keep it on the track.
There
or
we
at
go.
least the video that he cut kept it on the track.
That's right. That's right. So, Kevin 7, Bobby 6. Anyway, all right. So, Larry, we've got our drivers. They're going to be heading out for qualifying here in just a moment. As a matter of fact, we now have some drivers leaving the pit lane and starting their outlaps here at Sebring. We're going to be giving our drivers a 15-minute session in order to set the fast lap and set the grid for tonight's 75-minute race. And as we do here in the World Challenge, we're going to use what's called lone qualifying. Basically, each driver will have the track to themselves. They won't be able to see any of their competitors. They won't be able to use the draft, and they're going to get 4 flying laps in order to set their fastest lap here. And so as we take a look, and we have drivers heading out on track right now, we'll let you know how to differentiate between the different classes. As we mentioned, we've got 2 different GT3 classes, and in GT3 AM, great example is Greg Brockway right here in the number 62 Ferrari. And the AM category drivers, you'll be able to pick them out by the fact that they have green mirrors and green windshield banners and green number boards, and even the endpoints on their wings in green as well. And when we have the timing tower up on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll be able to see that, see the cars classified that way. Our pro category drivers, and let's see if we've got a pro category driver out on track. I think we do. Like, there we go. Mike Dam. He was just the person I was going to talk about. Mike Dam from Orion Racing. He is one of our GT3 pro drivers. You can pick out the pro drivers. They've got the red windshield banners, mirrors, number boards, and end plates on their cars. And then, of course, there are our GTP drivers. And they're much easier to pick out. Like Shane Larson right here in the number 17 machine. Those machines, they're all black, I believe, and either that or real dark blue for the number boards. But you'll be able to tell them on the timing tower. They'll be rendered in their positions will be in blue on the timing tower when we put that up on the screen, Larry. And again, that is a 15-minute qualifying session for all of our drivers.
They'll be the ones flying along like low altitude jets doing ridiculous speeds around this track. I just had a moment ago the practice time's up. Holly Cowee granted a 1:44.3 in practice compared to the GT3 best time was Mike Dam at a 2:01, so 16 seconds a lap separating our LMDHs from our GT3s. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of interacting between them, but this place is really meant for it. But just watch them, just watching Shane Larson here just go ripping around through that turn 1 into the 2-3 complex, just carrying so much speed. It's amazing to watch. Yeah,
and the great thing about Sebring, now there are some portions of the track like this section here in the S's coming out of turn 2, going through 4, 5, and 6, where it tightens up and gets a little twisty, but there are enough longer straightaways and also big sweeping turns to give these GTP cars the clearance that they need to get around some of the GT3 cars. You're not going to see, like a couple weeks ago at our last round out in California, site of the Grand Prix that we just had this weekend out at Long Beach, and where there was just very little time and room other than the front straight for the GTP cars to find a way around. And as and we'll talk about this, I guess now, Larry, probably as good a time as any, our GTP drivers didn't fare so well at Long Beach a couple of weeks ago. If we roll back the clock back to the 27th of March, Brandon Guillot, who started 5th in GTP, took the win. And next closest racer was Shane Larson, who we were watching just a few moments ago. Shane finished 3 laps down from our winner in GTP. And Shane, currently our points leader. We'll talk about the points battle here in just a moment. Stephen May finished in 3rd. Paulo Cowee Grant, who is currently sitting 2nd in the championship, finished 7 laps down. And then there's old Tom Pichette, who, well, he finished 54 laps down. I think he wrecked out on like lap 2 or lap 3. And if we take a look at the point standings as they currently stand in GTP, John, if you can throw that up for me there. Shane Larson, currently your points leader, with right now 179 points. He's got a 7-point advantage over Paulo Cowee Grant, who had a really strong open to the season, and I think had a week off and has had some pretty unfortunate finishes the last couple rounds. Marlon Jones sitting currently tied for 3rd right now with Stephen May. So believe me, it is not, this championship is still a lot of great stories here. Brandon Guillot, not all that far back. He's only 7 points back from, or 6 points back from Jones and May. So a lot to gain here. And
Tom Pichette is just going to be amazing to watch because, like I said, you've got Jones, May, Guillot, Pichette, all of them within that 7-point swing. Yeah. Should anything happen to any one of those, or even worse, if something were to happen to one of our 2 front runners tonight, one of those guys ends up on a top step or a second step of the podium, like we saw at Long Beach last time out. Oh yeah, it's almost a ticket to a finishing podium for the season. So we'll see if one of those guys can pull that off. As far as the points go, it is still possible for Paulo Cowee Grant to overtake Shane Larson for the championship if he can get, I think it's that 7 points, if he can get 7 points more than Shane. So it's going to be very, very close tonight. This will be a fun one to watch. Larson's really got to keep his nose clean.
Yeah, he does. It is definitely on the line, and he tried to do it at Long Beach, and like the majority of our GTB drivers, just was not able to keep the car off the walls or off other cars, for that matter.
Well, the good thing is, for guys like Larson and Grant, experienced in these cars, they probably just recently, within a few weeks ago, ran the 12-hour of Sebring, which typically means you did about 30 hours of practice ahead of time, plus you got the 12 hours of interacting probably in this car. That's fantastic practice for an event like this, because you start to really get the groove of where the passing zones are, both in class and between classes, and it becomes a very comfortable, like an old pair of tennis shoes kind of a track. You just feel like you've been running it all year long. So that's not going to be the difference maker tonight between these guys. It's going to come down to who can execute.
Exactly. All right, so let's move over now to our GT3 classes, and if we look back in GT3 AM, Dre Divock in his Porsche 911 took the win. One lap down was Baron Glover in his Ferrari, and then Brendan Horan also finished one lap down, finished in third, and I believe the gap between those two cars only a couple of seconds. It was actually a pretty good battle at the end there for second place. Then we had the Dragata brothers, Leonardo in the 118 car, Lucas in the 119. They finished fourth and fifth. Dragata finished one lap down. Lucas finished a lap back from there. And if we take a look at the point standings now in AM, it is, I think, pretty much locked up at this point for our top three drivers. But we've got Baron Glover sitting atop the point standings right now with 134. Divock with 123, Jacobs with 116. Now, that's not to say that we can't see a change in the order in those top three, but it would take a lot for Greg Brockway there from Frito Sport Racing sitting in fourth with 100 points, 16 points out of third right now to move up into that top three. But things, you look at, fourth, fifth, sixth with Brockway and Ruddick and Dragata, Leonardo Dragata, all in very close proximity. So we could see some big shuffling in the order here. And given that we've got, I think right now, looks like a 13 or 14 car AM field tonight, Larry. I think anything really could happen.
It could. I think the top four is going to be tough for shuffling, unless, kind of like what we talked about there in the GTPs, if there's a big shakeup in the finishing order relative to how they come in points. Because if they end up a spot or so away from where they're starting, for example, if Dre Divock were to win, but Baron Glover second, Glover probably has enough to hang on for that win. Divock's going to need Glover to be a couple of spots down to really have a shot to overcome that 9 points. Same thing to Jacobs to Divock for that second spot, Brockway to Jacobs for third. All those gaps are pretty big. They need a big shuffle to really make a difference. But, you never know here at the finale what could happen. But certainly when you get down into that 5th, 6th, 7th, those guys are all pretty close together. There could be a lot of shuffling before the night's over.
That's definitely the case. All right, so let's move over to Pro, where Mike Dam took the win at Long Beach with Dean Dibdahl. And it was, I think, a bit of a surprise where Dibdahl managed, and he was dealing with a lot of damage at the end with his car, Larry. To say that he limped the car across the line, I think, would be an understatement. But Dean Dibdahl finishing second in GT3 Pro with Iago Mores in his Lamborghini, who had some issues very early on in the race, coming home in third. Steve Daniels fourth. And Dibdahl, Mores, and Daniel all finishing a lap down from our leader, Mike Dam. Chris Thorman finishing 4 laps down. And I think probably the biggest story of the night was Travis Schwenke, who started on the front row next to his teammate Mike Dam and ended up smacking the wall pretty hard and ended up the race in 6th position, 14 laps down. And I think, that battle, Larry, between Dam and his teammate Schwenke, has been certainly the story this season in GT3 Pro.
Yeah, it really has been. Travis had such a good start to this season, winning, I think it was 3 out of the first 4 rounds, then struggled at Road America. Obviously, just talked about his struggles at Long Beach. Right now, he's carrying those Road America events under his points. That's going to be tough to overcome. that 7th place there. But again, the 7-point gap that he's down is not completely insurmountable, but he's going to need to win this race and hope that Mike Dan maybe finishes a couple spots back. But because, as we've seen, Dibdall running very well in the last couple rounds, whether it's here or whether it's in the sports car series, Dibdall is a contender in this. So we got to keep our eye on him, and he happens to be coming off of a couple of wins last weekend in his real life Spec Miata. So
that's right.
Maybe he's feeling the groove when he gets out here to Sebring, which I don't believe is too far from his home either. So this may be a good night for Dibdall to kind of mix it up with the front two and maybe have a hand to play in the final championship.
All right, so John, if you can throw up the point standings currently as they are in GT3 Pro, we'll take a quick look here. And as Larry mentioned, very tight, only 7 points separating Dam and Schwenke right now. The two Orion Racing teammates sitting at the top of the order. Yago Mores, who's had, I think, just a string of some bad luck this season. He has run some races very, very strong, and things have just fallen apart for him at times, not sitting all that far back, just with 151 points. And then Thorman and Jennifer McDonald, who took her first win ever in the World Challenge, currently sitting in 5th. She could definitely be a spoiler here this evening as well. And yeah, as you mentioned, Dean Dibdall, Larry, he ran some sprint races at Summit Point Raceway this past weekend, and can't run off the tires when you're only running 20 minutes.
Well, maybe he's conserving tires because his qualifying position, he's pretty far down the order here. No, he's had some good starts lately. He's been a strong runner through the entire race. A little off pace here early on the qualifying, but let's not count him out. We'll have to see where he ends up or where he starts to compete once the race unfolds.
All right, so we have now sitting in the green room, Larry, driver of the number 71 for Affinity Racing GTP BMW M Hybrid V8. Say that 25 times real fast. We've got Palakui Grant, who has put his car, for the moment, on the pole. Let's talk to him.
All right, Palakui Grant, you are currently on provisional pole for tonight, all the way down to the 43s. Wow, that's quick. Jeez. But you're going to have a strong race to try and win this championship. What kind of strategy you got? Are you going to be the rabbit who just takes off at the start of the race, or are you going to play it cool and conserve for 75 minutes?
Looking at coming into this race, for me right now, it's all about the fun. I know it's going to be quite a long shot for me to actually beat Shane Larson in the championship, but it's a possibility. But at this point, you know what? I'm just throwing my best and seeing if it sticks. As far as strategy goes, I'm most likely taking it a little easy, but maybe pushing it at the beginning. But in all honesty, this is about getting to the flag and racing my best race and giving you guys a show, which I hope we'll do tonight.
Yeah, and actually looking at qualifying right now, Shane hasn't put in a lap that's tripped a time yet. He's been out there, done a couple laps, but hasn't actually run a full qualifier. So we'll see if he's at the back of the 7-car field or if he'll be up there. But for you, though, you've had a couple of rounds. You started off the season very strong, and a couple of rounds lately that sort of had some issues there. Are you looking to kind of get refreshed? And this is Sebring. I'm assuming you've run your share of laps here.
Oh, of course. And, I like this course. It flows really nicely. And, it's very nice to get out there. And I understand for this race in particular, I do know for where the points stand, Shane needs to get 4th or better, and I can still win it, but he'll win the championship. So, it's about getting out there, being consistent today, and just, again, as I said, giving it my all. Those past couple of races I had, difficulties with, I was in the middle of a move as well. So, overall, I can't complain, even if Shane takes it, and all credit to him if he does. I am proud of where I'm at. 2nd place in the championship, especially here, my first at Extreme Motorsport. Can't complain. It's an amazing result regardless.
Yeah, well, good luck tonight. It's a great attitude to have. You never know where things will lay out in 75 minutes, but we're about to find out. Grading is underway, so good luck tonight.
Thank you. And, hey, I hope to put on a show. Stay tuned.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. That was Palakui Grant from Fur Affinity Racing, and he is your pole sitter, provisional no more, Larry. As we get ready, we're going to run down the starting order here tonight. And there it is on the pole. Your front row going to be Palakui Grant from Fur Affinity Racing, and then the Purple Sector Motorsport number 34 machine of Tom Pichette. Marcel Leclerc is going to start on the inside of row number 2 in the 33 car, with Stephen May starting right next to him in 4th. And then we've got Marlon Jones in the number 25 Lead Paw Racing entry with Brandon Guillot. Brandon is going to start 6th, and then sitting tail in Charlie 7th in GTP is going to be Shane Larson. And you know, Larry, even though he didn't put in a time, the worst he could have ended up in the field there is 7th. So as Palakui said,
he looks like he turned 2 laps. Neither one of them was an official lap. I suspect he may have had 1X's or something picked up there and was not. He just ran out of time to be able to go and do a 3rd lap to actually get one of the books, and he may have typed a message in the chat in iRacing that shows he's less than thrilled with his performance in qualifying.
Ooh. Well, he only has to get up to 4th, as Palakui said, in order to keep the championship. So we'll see how that turns out. All right, let's take a look at the GT3 field, Larry.
All right, on the pole tonight, I believe he's your points leader coming in, and he's going to be leading the pack into turn 1. That's Mike Dam from Orion Racing. On his outside, currently, I believe, 3rd in the points is Iago Moraes from the Iago Racing entry. He'll start this on 2nd for this race. On the 3rd spot, so inside of the 2nd row, Jennifer McDonald from BTL Motorsports should be lined up with an Orion driver, Rob Hartley, starting 4th tonight in GT3 Pro. Starting 5th, it's going to be Bobby Childs from D2DE Racing alongside Steve Daniel from SKKJ Racing. In the row 4 on the inside, Chris Thorman from D2D will be lined up alongside Eric Luke. Eric on the outside from Clow Valve Racing. On row 5 in the GT3 Pros, you get Dean Dibdahl, ZP Motorsports, lined up alongside the other one of our D2D drivers, David Payton. In the AM category, you've got on the pole there Nick Horvath from Leadpaw, lined up alongside Dre Divock from The Wrong Stuff. 2nd row, Baron Glover from Glass Pro Esport alongside one of our Dragatas. I do believe that's Leonardo Dragata on row 2 in GT3 AM. Row 3, Edgar Sancinelli from Frito Sport Racing alongside SCCA Foundations, Jeff Jacobs. Row 4, Dominic Angelicchio from The Wrong Stuff Racing alongside Ricmotech Motorsports' own Jose Cabrera. On row 5, the GT3 AM, it's going to be Lucas Dragata on the inside from that Dragon Sport Racing alongside Frito Sport Racing's Craig Brockway. Row 6, Russ Ruddick on the inside, flying Tortoise Motorsport alongside a teammate of his from Frito, sorry, not a teammate, a Frito Sport driver, John Casey. John's teammate is going to be on the 6th row, Frito Sport Racing's Patrick Griffiths.
All right, and there you go. That is your field tonight at Sebring International Raceway. And, you know, Larry, I think even though we've got the markdown by class there, they are not necessarily gridded up that way. Nick Horvath, our AM category pole sitter, going to start 6th in GT3, and going to be starting right beside Bobby Child. Pretty much most of the AM category field is they go with the pros. Maybe every other driver. So it goes Horvath, then Daniel, then Divock in the AM, then Thorman in Pro, then Glover in AM, then Luke in Pro, then Leonardo Dragata in AM. So big mix up there of the different classes, but we'll see how this works out as we've got the first safety car, or actually the only safety car tonight, Larry, bringing our field down the Ullman Straight towards the Sunset Turn. You can see the GT3 field starting to form up a little bit further back for the start.
Ruddick, Casey, and Preventus look like they may be in the pits for the start of this race. I don't think they're on the track.
All right, well, we'll see what happened. I'd seen that Divock was showing as having crashed during the pace lap, but he is still there, sitting 15th overall, as the GTP field now comes down the front straight, and we have a green flag. Palakui Grant jumping out to an early lead, cuts across Tom Pichette as they come down into turn 1 for the start of this race. Pichette, then Leclerc, then Brandon Guillot side by side with Stephen May, Shane Larson, Marlon Jones, and Jones, who started in 5th position, he now finds himself at the rear of the field. And those drivers now starting to make their way around as we jump over now to the GT3 start, and a little bit of an advantage coming out of Sunset for Mike Dam as they get the green flag and now are heading down towards turn 1. Dam sticking the car all the way to the inside as he's got Iago Mores in that Lamborghini directly behind him, and both of those drivers have opened up now a bit of an advantage. Actually, they've got Leclerc sitting, or not Leclerc, pardon me, that's Hartley right behind him, then Jennifer McDonald, but then a pretty big gap back to Bobby Child.
Oh, the 3 wide in the middle of that GT3 pack as they came through turn 2. Got a little sketchy. They got it sorted out. It looks like everyone's still a little contact, though, at the back there. That looks like...
that's Eric Luke going off. Yeah, coming underneath the pedestrian bridge over by turn 5 and turn 6. And that's Brandon Guillot.
Yeah, Guillot now the first of our GTPs to spin, and he may have a little bit of left front damage there. We'll see if he's able to keep that thing straight. Oh, he's pulling off now to probably call a tow.
And
Larson.
Yep, and he's gone.
Yeah, Larson is up there. At one point, Larson was up into second. We'll see where he ends up as things are still starting to shuffle up there. But here in GT3s, it is Mike Dam, Iago Mores, 1-2, with Rob Hartley sitting in third. And that's Brockway, the 62, and 29 Proventus getting mixed up there in their Ferraris coming through the, where that was.
That was coming out of the hairpin.
Ah, yeah.
I believe, yeah. And here we go, coming onto the Flying Fortress straight, going through Bishop down into the chicane here, what we call Le Mans. Great little fight here as we watch Jeff Jacobs with Jose Cabrera just ahead of him. This right now is the battle for 6th in AM. And Cabrera, great start for him as he made up 4 positions on the start. As we're starting to see a bit of a parking lot there for the GTPs, as we now have Marlon Jones, who drove into the pits, and of course we had already talked about our other GTP car, Brandon Guillot, who's taken the tow after that impact.
So yeah, the 2 of them in the pits now, but this battle of GT3s is quite the train going on, and we already talked a little bit about Dam, Mores, Hartley, and McDonald. Back from them should be a Bobby Childs, yes, in that Ferrari in the D2D livery. As he's trying to maintain pace with this front 4, he better get on it to keep it to the back of McDonald, or he will lose pace quickly. I think that's, let's see who Nick Horvath there behind, as we got a replay. Oh, it's a little bit of contact that Larson might have gotten into the back of Guillot. Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, might have gotten on the brakes a little earlier than he was expecting. And we'll see if our stewards have anything to say about that, well, Larry.
That's that risk. If you qualify, if you poor qualifying, as Larson did, he comes in with a points lead, looking to start at the front row, ends up at the back. You start going through the field, and everyone else has different braking points. Things get accordion bunched up. That's the risk. So he's got to really watch himself here as this race unfolds. If he has to take a penalty, that's going to hurt his chances to win the championship. It's
going to hurt tremendously if he has to take a drive-through this early on as we watch this battle in GT3. And Larry, we haven't really mentioned it, but perhaps the big surprise here is, and actually okay, and I was just getting word that there was some contact between the 17 car and the 34 car. The 17
that's Larson and Bichette.
is going to be giving up the position to Bichette, and I think that's already been done. But as we look at GT3 Pro, I guess maybe the big story here is there is no Travis Schwenke in the field. There are only 2 of the Orion racers, and that's Mike Dam and Robert Hartley. And so, obviously I'm not going to say that then gifts the championship to Mike Dam. It doesn't this early because we've still got a pretty big field and anything could happen. But it certainly makes it much easier for Mike Dam to take that pro championship.
Takes a contender round. I do recall him saying something that the last round was going to be his last in the World Challenge. Going to focus on some other things, which is, it would have been great to see him finish this one out. He had really had such a strong season, just those last couple of rounds, a bit of a hiccup. But I would say from a championship standpoint, it does open the door for Mike Dam. But from a race standpoint, Mike's got his hands full with Iago Mores and, of course, Mike's teammate Rob Hartley right behind him. So definitely going to be a tough race just here tonight.
All right, and just got word of another penalty being handed down. Lucas Dragata, driver of the number 119 Porsche, being given a 10-second post-race penalty after he had contact with Greg Brockway. We saw that spin. We caught the tail end of the spin from Brockway, and now we know the rest of the story.
Yeah, well, the rest of the field here in the GTPs are starting to get sorted out. There you can see Pichette, who just had a bit of a swapping of positions with Larson. That looks like it's kind of worked itself out. Larson, I believe, I got this right, running fourth right now. Paulie Grant, pretty big lead, 5 seconds ahead of Leclerc, who's a couple seconds ahead of May, and then you get a couple seconds to Larson here in fourth. So Larson's made his way to the position that's critical for him, not where he wants to be. He wants to be second, I'm sure, but he's got to get into the rhythm. You can see damage already on the left side of his car. So rough start already for Larson. Now he's got to just try and settle in and hope that car doesn't have too much damage.
That's right. And so right now, only 5 cars running in the GTP field, as we have both Marlon Jones and Brandon Guillot on the pit lane. And there is our leader, Paulie Grant, who has already opened up, Larry, this early on, a 5-second advantage over the rest of the GTP field, with Marcel Leclerc running second. And, you know, as you said, almost like an old pair of shoes as he's working his way through traffic, and just the speed that these GTP cars carry through Sunset, absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I'm watching the speedometer now. It was like 173 down the front straightaway, I think, before you turn in, and Apex at 135 or something around turn 1. It's just an amazing amount of grip and speed that this car has. A minimum of speed even there through turn 3 was like 65. So these things are just flying around here, and he's putting on a bit of a clinic, pulling away quickly from the pack behind him. Although Marcel Leclerc just turned a 45.6 himself. So maintaining pace, not too far off of Grant's 45.3s.
And it's amazing here, Larry. You know, you were talking about times in practice and times in qualifying, how Grant ran faster in qualifying than at any point during the week practices that these drivers have, and same for GT3 with Mike Dam running almost a half-second faster than his times during the week as well.
Yeah, and sometimes you just nail those right conditions, right place, right time, and you're able to put one down, ice in your veins and all. But here we go, looking at Hartley getting a bit of a run on Moraes as he's coming down the Ullman straight, trying to tuck up on the inside, try to keep up with his teammate Mike Dam. Mike not giving him any draft on the inside, interestingly enough. But here's Moraes taking the outside line around the Sunset Bend. He's going to hold that line, and if he can, he'll have the advantage going into 1, while Jennifer McDonald says, I'm going to take advantage there too and follow that draft of Moraes down the front straightaway. Not enough for her, but Moraes is able to hold the second spot down.
And you notice, Larry, as wide as Sunset is, Moraes really kept Robert Hartley almost pinned to the wall all the way around. And a lot of wheel hop. I mean, we know that it's a very bumpy track, obviously, but there was so much wheel hop that he had to contend with going through there. I was actually very surprised that Moraes kept him that tight.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It's really great racing when you can see someone like Hartley, really anybody. If you can hold that inside line, that's a dangerous way to try and go on the outside because you just don't know. But you know when you're in this series, you're running at the front. Anybody in the top 6 or so is so well skilled. They are going to hold their line every time. It was really great to see Hartley maintain that position and Moraes know that he was going to, and he could stick that outside and then have that advantage down the front straight. Very cool. Great racing side by side.
And I think we've just seen an area where maybe Jennifer McDonald, you know, she made a lot of it up under the draft on the Ullman straight, on the back straight here, but she seems to lose a little bit of ground to our top 3 drivers actually under braking going into the hairpin, Larry, and just doesn't seem to get a good jump out of the hairpin here as they come out of the tower turn over at turn 13 and onto the Flying Fortress straight.
Yeah, well, if she can make that up in a couple other spots, then she can stick with that pack. Otherwise, she's going to fall into the clutches of one Bobby Childs, who's trying to stay ahead of the AM leader, Horvath, in his run. But we got a shot here as we work our way through this field. Edgar Sanchinelli mixing it up there with Leo Dragata.
Yeah, and that was a nice move by Dragata around the outside there, coming through Collier.
Yeah, great.
Or probably not through Collier, through Bishop, through turn 14.
Yeah, watching them, the Dragatas flying through as the Flying Dragata brothers tend to do. As Leo now working his way up. Next spot's going to be about 3 seconds up, which will be a young Dean Dibdall in front of him. He's got his work to do as we catch back up with Eric Luke. Had his off there on the opening lap, now finding himself mixing it up in the middle of a couple of GTPs. Oh, that's Larson squeezing between. Wow.
Yeah, there was not a lot of room there for the 17 machine as he managed to sneak through. Apollo Cui Grant not having nearly the battles with traffic that both Larson and also May are currently having to contend.
Looking at lap times, we don't have it there on the graphic, but I can tell you the last time Grant came by, 151. Leclerc 150, May 150, Larson 149. These guys all are slowing down through this GT3 traffic, giving an opportunity for someone who could be aggressive. And there's Larson doing exactly that, being aggressive to the inside of May. Side by side, May cuts him.
And May left just enough room there for a moment, Larry. I thought he was going to be going around at the hairpin. I'm not sure
Shane would say there was just enough. There would have been just not enough for Larson.
But somehow they managed to make it through. But I'm sure Stephen May at this point, Larry, is, never mind having his head on a swivel. He's got to be prepared for those dive bombs, because that was a very late move by Larson.
Yeah, because Larson does not have a swivel on right now. He's got blinders, but he's got those binoculars on. He's so focused in on the back of Stephen May. And look at him cutting in front of Dibdall there, weaving through the traffic before they enter in those S's. And now look at this run he's going to get onto the back of the Ullman Straight here. Let's see, watch the short line by May and the long line by Larson, but Larson's got a lot of momentum now. May, though's got a little draft off some GT3s, flash the lights, trying to get on through. Oh, a lot of traffic in front of him, though. Here we got Daniel, Steve Daniel now, with Horvath in front of him, Thorman behind him. The new GTD graphics on the car for Thorman.
That's right. All right, and so May and Larson go around the outside, take the long way around the Sunset Bend, and it's coming into turn one. May definitely with the advantage there, opened up a couple of car lengths as we look at the fight right behind him, and that is, as you mentioned, Nick Horvath in the Lamborghini, and Horvath goes deep and goes wide over at turn number 3, and he's going to lose positions to both Thorman and also, to Daniel, to Thorman, to Dre Divock as well.
That's the critical one. The critical one is Divock there. That's for class position. Horvath now slips to second in the AM category behind Dre Divock. He's going to have to watch. He can let the pro guys guy, can't let the AM guy. Now he's got to go work to get that back. You can see Divock there in that Porsche trying to stick to the back of the 60 of Chris Thorman and see if he could pull away from Horvath. But Horvath's got to watch and try and stick in that battle.
Hey, so Larry, we mentioned, and you mentioned as we came into the broadcast tonight, that a lot of prizes given away tonight. Of course, there are the championships for our 3 different classes, but also stay with us after the race tonight. Besides our normal interviews with the race winners and podium finishers, we're also going to be giving away a Butt Kicker Gamer Plus unit valued at $279 and the all-important 95 cents. To one lucky winner racing in the World Challenge. A couple of requirements. They had to have raced at least 4 races this season, and, well, they must be here tonight as well. Jeff Jacobs, who, besides being a racer in the series, is also one of the series admins, and he will be drawing the lucky name, and we will probably, hopefully, have somebody else to interview here this evening. So, again, stick around to the end, and watch a racer cry like a baby when they win a big prize.
Wow, yeah. Look, just watching the GTPs, just making the way around the leaders in GT3. That's Larson. I believe that's Bichette and May. All 3 of them just sort of stuck together.
And
that
running
going wide was May, I believe.
That was Stephen May, who ran wide in the number 50 machine. And we did have Bichette, May, and Larson come into turn 1, and now Larson moves back up into 4th position after having sat back in 5th, and we see that the purple number 34 machine, Tom Bichette, about 8 car lengths up ahead.
Yeah, well, for Shane Larson, our points leader, he falls further and further down, lost another 4 seconds to Pichette and a lot of time to Leclerc on that last lap alone. He now finds himself about 20 seconds or so down from Marcel Leclerc for second. So he's got some work to do. He just keeps getting caught up in this, and I'm starting to wonder if that damage we can see on his left side is starting to hurt him, because May, again, sticking right to the back of Shane Larson, and Larson not able to pull any away. I don't know what kind of pace he even has in that car.
And you can see right here, Larry, as they come out of turn 12, where Larson loses a lot of ground to Pichette in these coming out of some of these slower corners. We'll see what happens on the straightaways, but yeah, he may definitely have, and you can see it even here through Le Mans, where he's just not getting a lot of front end grip. And look at this as May pretty much sticks the car, keeps the car on the curbing.
I'm starting to think that he's having trouble with the car making right turns, because which unfortunately around Sebring, half of them or 3/4 of them are right-hand turns. He seems to be slow at a couple spots, and every time he makes that entry onto the Ullman Straight, and we got a little bit of a slide, bit of big spin, and into the wall for May, big contact.
And you know, and I was just gonna say that you could see the problem with the Larson machine going into Sunset, where he just couldn't get the nose turned in, but May carried so much speed through there, and you saw what happened. Let's take a look at the replay, Larry.
Yeah, so we're on board here with May. He's on the outside, turns in, and just loses it. And right in front of Larson. Wow. I can't believe Larson didn't collect him. Because he was so slow. He
lucky.
Didn't. Yeah. Well, that does move Larson then solidly into the 4th spot, which is what he needs. Not the way he wants to do it, but that's where he is, and I still suspect that car's struggling. What I was saying there is every time he turns onto the Ullman Straight, that right-hander, he has to swing hard left and chuck the car right every single time. He's going a lot further left. Yeah, nobody's going that far left, and I'm wondering if the car is having trouble making right. And that's the only way he can do kind of a Scandinavian flick style. Yeah. And this track, it's something like 75% of the turns are right-handers.
Yeah, well, he went in the Sunset, and with what Stephen May notwithstanding, Larson just wasn't able to get the car to turn in. Yeah. And that would probably, given that May came across his nose, it was probably a good thing that if Larson had the right trajectory, he might have ended up collecting the 50 machine.
Yes, he may have lucked out with car damage there in that exchange. But let's move over then into the GT3 Pro ranks, and we are watching Jennifer McDonald just ahead of Rob Hartley. So she's managed to take that 3rd position ahead of Hartley, but it looks like it's cost them both a little bit of track position, as they're about 2 seconds back from the Dam and Moray's battle up in front of them.
That's right, and then we've got Bobby Childs a little bit further back from there in the number 88 machine, just coming into your view.
He's definitely trying to sniff a little bit of draft. He's about a second and a half behind Hartley, and you got to be about a second to feel some of that draft. But if Rob Hartley makes the move on to Jennifer and they end up going side by side, that might be enough for Bobby to sneak in there. But let's see if Bobby can get this done on his own. Currently in that 5th spot.
And and if we drop a little further back, Larry, coming out of Sunset right now, they are in that just having come out the 3rd and 4th cars in that pack. Dre Divock and Nick Horvath there, and maybe Horvath with a couple of connectivity issues there, but there we go. There's the Porsche, and right behind the Porsche is then the Lamborghini of Horvath, and look at that great move, Larry, by Divock, who just got ahead of Steve Daniel, and they're now swapping positions side by side, and this is the battle for the lead in AM.
It is, and it's really getting dicey as Divock now on the inside of the 82 of Horvath as they're going through that hairpin. With Dibdall now right behind him. Of course, Dean's out of the pro category, but doesn't want to get stuck with these guys, and certainly doesn't want to get mixed up should they come together. But right now, all he can do is watch while Steve Daniel starts to pull away. Now, Daniel looks like our timing has been showing him in pro, but I believe he's got the livery of an AM.
Of an AM driver,
he is AM, yeah. So keep that in mind that right now, Steve Daniel is in the AM category.
And if that's the case, he's your leader.
Exactly. He would be just ahead of these two. So there's your 1, 2, 3, Steve Daniel, Horvath, and Divock. ahead of Glover then a couple seconds back. And there's Glover. You can see him just in the back of the shot there.
All right, as we're now 20 minutes into this 75-minute race in GTP, Paulo Grant is your leader with Marcel Leclerc running in second. In GT3 Pro, it's Mike Dam with Iago Moraes first and second, with Robert Hartley, who's just now gotten back around Jennifer McDonald, in third. And in AM, as we've just now discovered, Larry, it's Steve Daniel, your leader, with Nick Horvath and Dre Divock, all in fairly close proximity here.
Yeah, it makes up for a pretty good little race. So for Steve Daniel, doing what he can to keep that gap while these two battle behind him. But this is where the battle's at. Horvath and Divock with Dibdall just kind of dancing around him.
Yeah, not much he can do, and you know, again, in a car that is very, very similarly prepared, and you know, it doesn't necessarily have the wherewithal, especially to get around two cars that did half a lap side by side.
Well, just saw a comment from Rich Dibdall, Dean's crew chief, father, and probably primary disciplinarian, that Dean is running his endurance setup from the 12-hour tonight. Probably not the setup that he wanted to run, but that's what he's on, which may be partly why his pace may not be where he would have thought he would be.
All right, as we watch now, this is Marcel Leclerc in the number 33 machine. He's been keeping a good pace, Larry. He's actually running a little bit faster than our leader, Paulo Grant, right now. Still about 5 seconds in arrears, but also in a good little pocket
quickly,
right now. Yeah.
Very quickly. I'm suspecting Grant, yes, he is. He's in traffic, and that's helping. Let's see if Leclerc can clear the traffic a hair faster, because he was able to go from 6 or so seconds back to less than 4. But he's about to go through those S's there, which is always a slow deal when you're behind a GT3 relative to where their pace can be. But look at him cutting through pretty well as he goes around the which car that was, the Dragata, I think.
Dragata.
Is it? Trying to see which car. Oh, sorry, that was Jose Cabrera in that Ferrari.
And he's coming up on Jeff Jacobs right now. There we go, with Santinelli behind. There we go.
So in the net of that, he was able to pick up about 2 seconds around that section compared to what Paulo Grant did. So great job so far for Leclerc, keeping his nose clean, picking his way cleanly through traffic, and right now solidly in the second spot with Pichette out there. But I think Larson may have just passed Pichette. It's hard to see. Our timing and scoring at least has it that way right now. We'll see if that gets corrected on our timing. Here he is now behind one of the Dragatas. That's the 118 Leo Dragata in that Porsche. Marcel's making his way around now.
And it looks as though, Larry, that Marlon Jones has rejoined after his, I think, lap 1 incident. And he is now back out on track, but he's down considerably. He's only working lap 9. Our leaders on lap number 14. So actually, I would have expected it to be more than 5 laps, but there you go.
Big laps here at Sebring.
Yes.
I do like this place. You know, I was saying earlier, this is not the track that when I jumped into starting this iRacing thing that I would have selected and said, you know, that's got to be one of my favorites. You know, there's always the Spa, the Zukas, you know, places like that that are very world famous and all that for F1 and things. But I tell you what, the more laps you run around Sebring, this place grows on you. It's flat as a board. There's no elevation anywhere. But the corners really have a flow to them, and it races very well. It's a lot of fun to do a lot of laps. I've done the 12-hour race that iRacing puts on a couple of times, and I think it's a great race track for doing these kind of cars. It's just perfect. And
Larry, we just saw there as Leclerc makes his way around I guess that was Steve Daniel, with Daniel and Horvath there. And wow, Leclerc, he moved all the way driver's right. If anything, maybe an extra car width or 2 car widths further driver's right. And I think got into Steve Daniel's blind spot Daniel went to turn in for Sunset and found the bright green machine there just on his fender, and had to pull out of it very quickly.
Well, that cost him some track position, because that certainly put Horvath right there on his tail.
Yeah.
But now we're flashing up here to Dre Divock, who's has now got a Dean Dibdahl around him. Again, not the same class, but Dibdahl's on the other side of him. So Divock now has lost pace to Horvath and to Daniel up in front of them, as Dre now going through that hairpin at 7. He's got to work his way back around Dibdahl, or hopefully maybe tie his hitch to the back of Dibdahl and work their way up together.
Yeah, and let him pull him back up towards the Lamborghini of Horvath.
Yes, Mike, we are flat as a board as the entire state of Florida really is. One of the YouTube comments, he is correct. This place is very flat.
I mean, that's not true. If you watch drivers come out of Sunset, Larry, there's that little tiny rise right up against the wall of drivers left. I think it rises up maybe a good, I don't know, 6 or 7 inches.
Well, you get that massive off camber at Tower Corner, so maybe that's the elevation change here at Sebring.
and the dirt and the grass is at least another 2 inches down from the exit curbing. So, yeah, it's huge here. All right, on board right now is we're watching. I believe that's Marlon Jones.
Yep. Stephen May has also, I believe, made his way out of his repairs pit stop. I believe he's out on track and in front of Jones. Again, not sure timing scoring on our side is working as well, but it should be. But I do believe he's out there currently in 5th, which could get interesting depending on how many laps down from Larson he is, especially if Larson's still having troubles.
Yeah, and again, this is a 3 3/4 mile track. Larson currently working lap 15, as May is working lap 11. So quite a bit of mileage to make up, but again, so much time left on the clock as we're just coming up, Larry, on the 30-minute mark, a couple of minutes shy of 30.
And if May can do anything in the 140s, Larson is struggling to get anything less than a 153. So we're going to have to really keep an eye on that as May progresses. And again, we've got pit stops still left. I suspect May will only need to make one. Larson will at least have to make one.
Right. And we're watching
to our GT3 Pro.
Yeah, there's a nice little fight going on right now. Jennifer McDonald, who's lost a little bit of ground there to Robert Hartley in the number 3 machine up ahead. But she's got Bobby Childs starting to really pressure her, and
she was ahead of Hartley about 2 laps ago when
yes.
we checked in the last time. So she's lost that position, now put herself into the clutches of Bobby Childs. So perhaps a mistake somewhere has cost her all that position, but more importantly, it's cost her. She gets to be giving draft to Bobby Childs behind as Marlon Jones goes on by down the Alma Straight.
Watch as she comes through here with a lot of, you can see the rear end of Jennifer McDonald's car not very happy coming through Sunset. Had the back end step out on her, had to do a little bit of correction. I think Bobby Childs made up a little bit of ground on exit, was able to carry that down towards turn 1. And we'll continue to watch Jennifer's car to see if it's a little loose, as it appeared to be there coming out of 1 as well.
Yeah, it's either a loose or potentially a push that just keeps the car running wide coming outside of turn 1 there, but not really happy for her as Eric Luke has made his way down pit lane, and he's had his struggles tonight. We know in the opening lap he had gotten bumped there through the opening Big Bend lap, but we'll see if this is just a fuel stop. He's up in the air, potentially for some tires too.
Yeah. But yeah, possibly getting some tires. And Larry, in talking to some of the folks who ran testing during the week, because of the tire wear, we shouldn't be surprised if a good portion of these drivers do take rubber as well, as they can get the tire change done while fueling is happening. Here is Robert Hartley now making up a lot of ground in just the last half lap or so on Iago Mores.
I think Rob Hartley has turned it into overdrive here. It's not only has he been able to dispatch with Jennifer McDonald behind now, he's now pulled up right to the back of Iago Mores And I suspect he may be thinking about making a move on, but Hartley might be the quickest one in the field right now of all the GT3s, wanting to maybe set up for the pit stop. He wants to be up in that second spot and turn these hard laps. And if he thinks he's coming in to change tires, he'll burn him up here as much as he needs to. Oh, no, that's McDonald into the wall.
Yeah, as she goes and pounds the wall coming through Le Mans. They are over at turn 15, and I guess she could have just driven right into the paddock from there, but she continues on. She's going to lose a number of positions, Larry, as she is now going to drop down to 7th in pro.
She got D-Box in the M class, right behind her. He has a run going down the element straight. I would say a lot of damage to the front of Jennifer's car, so maybe she avoided any significant impact, but certainly track position and a little bit of impact of ego there probably also hurt.
Well, we mentioned that we didn't think the car was handling all that well, and she may have run the tires off just trying to keep up that battle with Hartley. Let's take a look.
As she comes up here to enter into those Le Mans S's, turns in, hooks the inside curb. That's what it is.
Yeah.
See if she actually makes contact. Just
a tap.
But that's that curb on the inside. If you lift the car just right, you glide over it. But if that car bounces and digs, it will hook exactly like that Jennifer found right there. Often, when I run the endurance races here, I'm always trying to just glide over that. But if you dig a tire in, it's game over.
Yeah, round you go. All right, and so Larry, and here's another fight here, and this is maybe a bit of a surprise as we now see Steve Daniel, who again we're showing Daniel as being in pro. He is one of our AM drivers here. Great fight. This is now not for the lead, but for second in GT3 AM with Dre Divock, as Nick Horvath managed to get around Steve Daniel and also Dean Dibdahl.
Yeah, so Dibdahl managed to get through there. It's good for him, but has left this battle for second to be a pretty strong one. And now they've got a Jennifer McDonald who's got a loose but fast car behind them, and she's going to want to try to get by these guys. But with the battling that they're doing, I don't think Jennifer's going to find any room. But she is pushing track limits everywhere, just watching the car. Man, she's really got a handful. I wonder if she'll be looking for a pit stop here shortly and maybe a fresh set of tires.
All right, well, Larry, let's do this, and hopefully, and of course, this is going to be the kiss of death. You know what's going to happen.
Oh, and Jennifer off again
in the exact same place. Wow.
Oh, and that one's got more damage for sure.
Yes. Yeah, you can see it now that the front end of that M3 GT3 looks a heck of a lot better now than it did before. And I'm going to suspect, Larry, that she is probably going to bring that car down the pit lane now and take tires. But let's do this. We're right up at the top of the hour, and the GT3 pit window just opened up about a lap ago, and we're just a couple of laps from, and you can see how loose the car is coming through there. We're actually just coming into the pit window for GTPs. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Let's thank some of our partners and sponsors, and when we come back, we'll take you all the way to the checkered flag here from Sebring for the round number 7, the finale of the season 6 Ricmotech World Challenge presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics and Butt Kicker. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
And welcome back to Sebring International Raceway, where you're watching the Season 6 finale, the Season 6 finale of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Proforma Texas Elite Graphics and Butt Kicker. I'm Greg Ginsburg, along with Larry Lefty McLeod. And Larry, like clockwork, the pit stops begin.
They do, and this time it's Marcel Leclerc pitting from the second spot. He's in, which should be routine. We'll see how long it takes him to get out of there, although he's been there almost 40 seconds, I think. So a little slower than I expect, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. We're then going to be waiting probably a while for most of our GT3s, certainly the front runners in the pro class, probably before they come in. But the recap there is still Mike Dam leading, Yago Moraes and Rob Hartley in that order. Bobby Childs currently fifth, a couple seconds back from them. And then Chris Thorpe, the D2D driver, in fifth. As Leclerc may be in there a little longer, as this is a replay of him going into Sunset Bend. And I'm wondering if he had a bit of a sleepy moment, and
he did.
That's going to be sideways hard into those tire balls.
And I think that was probably a bit harder than Stephen May hit a little bit earlier. Yeah, so it looks like driver of the number 33 machine is going to become very accustomed to the end of the pit lane there.
Yeah, it's for Publicly Grant. That's the kind of thing he needs to avoid. Is he's out there now trying to dig his way through traffic, getting through. I think that's straight Evoc. He's just passing there, going into one, and there's Steve Daniel, the next victim in line, and then it'll be Dean Dibdahl as he comes around turn 3 here. But Grant still clipping off those 147s. That's fast, working his way through the traffic, but his margin now is going to be over Tom Pichette, who I believe is probably about a minute back. I don't see the exact number here, but the gap from Grant to Pichette is definitely not that close. Larson, though, with the damage to Leclerc, up to third.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just going to make that point now that, we were talking during the break, Larry, about how Larson might, try to limp the car around, whether it would make sense for him to come into the pits, and if it means taking a little bit of repair on, whether he's in good shape. And now that we've got Leclerc in the pit lane, or actually getting the tow back to the pit lane, maybe it would make sense for Shane Larson to come in and get that repair done.
Possibly. So we'll have to see what his decision is. Especially if a car is that ill handling and you've got a margin to take some repairs, I personally would do it, because I feel like I'm going to make a mistake and have another accident with an ill handling car than if I were to get the car back to square. So we'll see if he decides to do that. Leclerc has been in the pits for more than a lap now, almost 3 minutes. So it's an opportunity for Larson. If he has a couple of minutes of repairs, he could possibly make them.
As we were just watching Publicly Grant, and almost as good as his driving, Larry, is that shot that we show is part of our lower third on the screen, where he's giving everybody the thumbs up. Very very cool, and very much in line when we talked to him with his demeanor as well. Very cool. All right, coming down onto the pit lane now, that is Steve Daniel, who is pitting in from, I believe, second in AM. Again, we're showing Steve as being a pro category driver. He is an AM category driver, and coming in now, Baron Glover.
There. Yeah, right behind him. Both of them in that AM category. Glover, I believe, was running fourth or fifth there in AM. Yep. So we'll see what he decides to do. Yago Moraes still trying to chase down Mike Dam, as the front two in the GT3 Pro are still battling it out, but picking their way now through the back of the GT3 field traffic. That looks like the 29 of Preventus just in front of them. And back behind them, it might be Grant making his way through. It's one of our GTPs coming up on this pack.
Yeah, I think that might be Marlon Jones.
It's Grant.
Is it? Oh, yep, you're right. from a distance, it looked like a bronze-colored car.
I was cheating. I was using the little lap indicator or timing that tells you the lap percent they're on, and I could just tell they're on the same percent. I give away my tricks. But here they are, the leader in GT3 Pro and the leader in GTP, right there side by side at the moment.
And Larry, I was just going to mention how Iago Mores had managed to get away from Robert Hartley, at least temporarily. But I think between Paulo Cui Grant going through the field and also as our GT3 leaders were coming up on Patrick Provenis, now we've got the number 3 machine right back behind Iago Mores as Grant now comes down the pit lane for what should be his only pit stop this evening.
Yep, we'll see how clean a stop this is. Just after he does all that work to get around the GT3 Pro leaders, now he has to go and take a stop, and probably have to do it again in about 3 laps. But this battle's been pretty strong for a while, ever since Rob Hartley was able to get around Jennifer McDonald about 10-12 laps ago. This has turned into one of the best battles on the track for second in GT3 Pro between Iago Mores and Rob Hartley. And again, these guys all have to make a pit stop as well. If somebody can do a bit of an undercut or an overcut, a little shorter on their fuel stop, it could cause a bit of a swap of positions. We'll have to keep our eyes on that, as Shane Larson looks like he's just coming up on that battle in his GTP.
And indeed he is, and you can see Bobby Childs a little bit further back flashing the lights, trying to work his way around Patrick Provenis as well, as Childs currently sits 4th in Pro.
Yeah, having a good strong night tonight, just ahead of his teammate Chris Thorman, a couple seconds back from him. But just watching Larson there, really now being careful and cautious, picking his way through this traffic, not being as aggressive, and knowing also the car is a couple seconds slower. I'm sure there's a couple of corners where that car isn't handling at its finest that he really needs to be cautious with. But Hartley here, really now, every chance he gets, he pressures the back of Mores every single time. We'll see if maybe he's got an opportunity to go by, or if he maybe could just be trying to save fuel and make it a shorter pit stop.
Yeah, that could very well be. And, you know, and I've also noticed, Larry, and I'm, you know, it hasn't come back to bite him yet, but when Mores goes through the first turn at Le Mans at that chicane, you can see how much the curbing affects the right rear wheel of that Lamborghini, that it hops up in the air probably a good 6 inches or so, and really unsettles the car. And I think Robert Hartley in that BMW, he turns in a little bit later there. He doesn't use as much curbing, and he carries a little more speed. Grant has it off. And speaking of Le Mans, that's over in the chicane there. Yeah. And same place where Jennifer McDonald had issues. Paulo Cui Grant spins the car, but luckily for him, Larry, as Pichette has taken his pit stop as well, he's got over a minute, almost a minute and a half on Tom Pichette currently.
He does, but if he makes a mistake like that again, and here he is out brushing the cones on the outside of Sunset. Let's catch this replay, though, of Grant as he comes up into those Le Mans curves. Does he make contact anywhere? Is he just losing? Oh, it is losing
just
it
on the edge
curve,
of the curbing.
And yes, there's contact. Wow, let's see if he has any significant damage and see if that car's got handling. Because if he's got any issues, oh no, he's in the pits. This is going to give an opportunity for Pichette, or maybe even Larson, who's a lap down, unlapping himself as we speak, in fact. Pichette, though, is probably all of about a minute and a half away from taking the lead in this race. Oh, this just got full of drama.
That's right. It has gotten a lot more exciting, Larry, as we're 45 minutes into the 75-minute battle. And Pichette now working his way down through the about 2/3 of the way through, maybe a little bit more than 2/3 of the way through this lap. I don't even need a lap counter to tell me this.
I don't know if Pichette realizes he's about straight away and one corner away from being the leader in this race. I don't know that he would have realized, because his relative screen is going to show a couple of GT3s. At some point, it's going to pop up. It's going to show Grant in the pits, and he's going to be one stunned driver potentially in the lead, assuming he doesn't pull into the pits himself.
And this is such a turnaround, Larry, from Long Beach just a few weeks ago, where Tom Pichette started 3rd in class and crashed out on, I believe it was lap number 1, finished 54 laps down, And as he crosses the start-finish line, as he heads into turn number 1, Tom Pichette is your new leader.
Wow. As the GT3 leaders are starting to come in, at least the second and third place, Yago Mores and Rob Hartley have made their way in. Looks like Professor 29 also just came in.
Yep, and Maury's up on the jack stands. I didn't see Robert Hartley go up. We're going to have to see here whether or not he stays, if he stays on the existing tires.
Now, back in GTPs, Grant's still in the pits. Larson limping around. He's going to take over the second spot behind Pichette, pushing Paliqui Grant to third. This is exactly what Larson needs. Into the pits. There it is. Hartley makes the pass in the pits over Yago Mores. I was wondering if he was going to try and take a little less fuel. In this case, his pit stop was almost exactly 1 second faster. He's now in the second spot, the virtual second spot, at least, behind Mike Daniel.
And there you go, as he leads him out. Now, we've seen where Hartley has had, in Road America in particular, Larry, where Hartley had some issues on cold tires coming out of the pits. And although I said I didn't think that Hartley took the tires, given the length of the pit stop he may have. And we'll see here how these drivers do try to get these cars back up to temp, as we see Hartley and also Mores with a bit of an issue getting the car squared up coming out of the hairpin.
Yeah, well, if Mores took the tires, he'll be the one struggling on the coldness of the tires. And I'm seeing Race Control taking a look at an incident between the 88 of Bobby Childs and the 50 of Stephen May. That's interesting. So we'll see what's going on there. As Bobby's now behind Chris Thorman in the field, as there's Nick Horvath looking like he's alongside of Baron Glover. Horvath continuing to drop down the order here. Again, he was leading this group, or at least in second, for quite a while. Now he finds himself in the battle for fourth with Glover in that Ferrari. Ferrari and Lamborghini side by side, black versus white. This is a pretty good little battle.
That's right, and you'll see just up ahead of these two drivers, we saw Jeff Jacobs in his Mercedes, just 2 cars up from this battle right here, with David Payton's GT3 Pro Lamborghini, the D2D e-racing machine, right in the middle of this.
Looks like they've ruled there on the incident. Oh, whoa.
Oh, and now they're going to have another one to rule on there. Yeah,
that also, wow.
Yeah, as Horvath tried to find his way around Patrick Pavenis and just did not have the clearance there. Driver's right, and Pavenis goes around. Pavenis goes into the wall, and it looks like he's trying to get that car back underway as Horvath continues. But I can't imagine the stewards are going to look kindly upon that.
No, I don't think so at all. That'll be interesting to see what kind of penalty. And again, for Horvath, who's been falling down the order, might have just found the way to fall a little faster.
And Larry, I don't know if you saw that movement again. This isn't in class, but you know, when they say slow in, fast out, I think Jeff Jacobs just demonstrated that to David Payton, who went flying into the sunset bend. And if anything, it looked like maybe Jacobs went in maybe a good 15 miles an hour more slowly, and just turned in a little bit later and picked up about 6 car lengths on exit coming out of there. Maybe Payton needs to see exactly what this Mercedes is doing going in there, because he just went in way too hot.
Well, Jacobs, the wily veteran there, putting on a bit of a show, but you know, it's really going to end up being Steve Daniel, I think, is leading the way there. Yeah,
he's back up in the lead ahead of Dre Divock, as Mike Dam now comes down the pit lane, pitting in from the lead in GT3 Pro. And
I think Daniel is pro, but his livery tonight might be mixed up a little bit. I think he is supposed to be pro with that red livery, not the green.
Well, let's see if I can get a ruling on that.
Well, I'm looking at the point standings, and I see Daniel in the 8th coming in
the pro. Okay.
So sorry to the viewers for mixing that up.
Sorry about that.
We're trying to keep it straight. Timing and scoring had it right all along. We were the ones that were wrong. And look at this. Mike Dam back out. Silver to be in the lead, staying ahead of his teammate Rob Hartley. Right behind Jennifer McDonald, who's a little bit of a lap down there. Still carrying a lot of that damage from her incident earlier at the Le Mans curves.
That's right. So Mike Dam currently 8 seconds up on his teammate. Almost, actually closer to 9 seconds at the moment here. And see, it doesn't look like Jennifer McDonald's going to put up much of a fight there. She lets Dam around the outside, tucks in behind.
All right, so I think that's the entire field now that has completed their stops. It is Pichette, Larson, and Grant back out on the track. Grant in third, about 3 laps, 2.5 laps down from Pichette, and about 2 laps even down from Shane Larson. Mike Dam leading Hartley over Mores, then Thorman, and then Childs, and then in the AM category it is Dre Divock. Currently leading Leo Dragata
by about what, about
4 seconds?
4 seconds.
With about 25 minutes to go in this season. We'll give away the butt kicker prize tonight as well, so stay tuned for that after the interviews.
And Rich Dibdahl's online and cannot understand how Mike Dam can save so much fuel and go 2 laps longer than anybody else. But I don't know. But he seems to do it almost every race.
Yeah, he's very good. Those Orion guys practice that kind of stuff, but he's certainly one of the quickest around is Mike Dam. We're all in awe. They're Rich, not just you.
All right, as we watch here, and as you mentioned, with all of our pit stops done, it is Pichette, your leader in GTP, with Shane Larson now running in second. Larson currently the points leader in the championship. Mike Dam, our leader in GT3 Pro. He is your points leader. His teammate Robert Hartley running second, Yago Mori's third. And in AM, Dre Divock is currently your leader on track, with Leonardo Dragata running second and Jeff Jacobs running in third, with Glover down in currently running in fourth. And Larry, if we look at the points here, Glover, who had an 11-point advantage coming into the evening, I think he's still got enough to hold on at the moment.
No, it's definitely going to be interesting, and certainly Nick Horvath is giving him a run right now as the two of them are just side by side through this whole opening section of this lap. This is a great race to watch. Glover, no contacts anywhere. He's been able to hold his line. And now as they head down towards the hairpin, he's going to probably pop to the inside.
No, he's not going to pop to the inside as Glover goes to cover.
Yep, Glover's to the inside. But now does he get a run coming out of the hairpin, or is that advantage to Horvath? It looks like it is, but there's nowhere to go, and that's the problem with that hairpin. It's a slow exit. Oh, great racing here as they now set up for the next right-hander. Again, does he pop? He does. Can he slow it down?
Oh, he's going deep. Slow in, fast out, Larry. As he went very deep on the brakes, and Glover makes him pay here as they now come out onto the Flying Fortress straight, and Glover with about a 2.5 car length advantage. Nick Horvath currently sitting 5th in class behind the Ferrari.
I want to say Horvath might be a little quicker in this race, but Glover's being very smart with choosing his lines and forcing Glover to go to outbrake him, Glover forcing Horvath to outbrake him, forcing him to take awkward lines. And here he is again, Glover saying, I know the inside tight line at Sunset Bend is the faster line. I don't want to give you any draft. So he's not giving any draft. Watch him see if he takes the tidy line. A little about midway, but nice and tidy exit here.
And then he brings it in.
Just smart driving right now for Baron Glover. He's got to hold this position. If these points are going to be interesting with Divock in the lead and Glover in fourth, I'm not a mathematician by any means, but I know that it's going to be
we've already established I'm not. So.
You also need to make that. That's all right. I'll get you an abacus for your birthday.
Thank you.
What a battle!
Go back to the days of my youth. Yeah, this has been a great battle. We saw these two very early on do almost almost 3/4 of a lap side by side, and great great fight here, you know, again, for 4th position in class.
Glover came in with about 11 points advantage on Divock, who's currently in the lead. Glover in 4th, so Glover probably does not want to fall to 5th, where things get a little amiss with the points. So he's got to really watch himself here, and both of them having occasional blips on the connection, which just doesn't make it any better here.
No,
that
it doesn't.
time it's Bobby. Meltdown ensues. Bobby Childs now into the wall, into the pits.
Yeah, and so Stubby had just commented on in the chat that Bobby looked like he was slowing down a bit. And as we take a look here, he grabs a bunch of curbing at the apex of 13, and around he goes.
Yep, that was a bunch of dirt there coming off on the exit of that corner, and that always hooks you to the inside. Bobby's night looks like it might be done.
Yeah, so Bobby Childs, who had been running fourth and pro for a good portion of the night, he now is going to give that position up to Chris Thorman, his teammate, and Thorman now sitting 4th in class as we go back to this battle between Glover and Horvath.
Things changed, but look at Horvath now trying to do the wide outside line. Let's see if he can get any kind of a run down the front straight. I've tried that. I don't think there's much there, as Glover has pulled away just a little bit. I prefer the tight and tidy around Sunset. Horvath trying to go all the different lines, see what works for him.
And Larry, as I'm looking at how points are allocated, so it's 35 points for first, 32 for second, 30 for third, 28 for fourth, 26 for fifth. And so with Glover sitting 4th right now, that would be a spread of 7 points between he and Divock, which certainly doesn't equal 11. So we'll see how this continues to play out. But right now, he's in good standing.
Jeff Jacobs here trying to hold that 3rd spot. Of course, that's one of our pro class drivers right behind him with David Payton for class. Let's see if Jeff's got any pace left in him. He's just got a couple seconds to catch up to Leo Dragata in the Porsche. A solid run so far for Jeff Jacobs here to a provisional podium spot. Meanwhile, the battle for 4th continues to wage on behind him, with Glover and Horvath still in that order. And there they are coming onto the Ullman Straight. Good run. Glover seems to get a better run on this straightaway usually. I think there's a couple other spots on this track where Horvath's a little quicker, but I think Glover's got the advantage down here at this end.
And Peyton taking a little bit slower entry in the Sunset this time. Doesn't lose any ground to the Mercedes, but you can see there is Jeff Jacobs keeps the Mercedes drivers left for an extended period of time. I think maybe worried that the Lamborghini might come up alongside. But nice, again, not for a battle in class, but nice little fight going on. And I think, Larry, that as we continue to point out that Dragata isn't that far ahead, only about a little over 2 seconds. I think Jacobs is a lot more occupied at the moment with the 64 machine directly behind.
Yeah, and I do wonder if maybe Jeff's kind of wishing that 64 machine would just kind of go around him and let him do his thing. But as of right now, they are battling. Sometimes when you have another class battling with you, you just almost rather run by yourself or put him out in front and give you a carrot to chase for instead of having to constantly check your mirrors to see if he's poking his way through. But it keeps you on your toes. 15 minutes left in this race. We'll see if this pans into anything. But Jacobs did, over the last lap, chip away a little bit into the lead of Divock. So Jacobs only now 2 seconds behind Dragata and just under 6 now from JD. You can see them both in front of him too.
for a little while so we could listen to the Mercedes.
Yeah, the Mercedes and Lamborghinis, pretty good sounding motors out there. Watching the draft breaking going on behind these two as well with the battle of Glover and Horvath. Oh, look at this. Jacobs goes just wide enough to let the faster Peyton go inside, but the up and under, over and around. Now they're side by side. We're not quite sure. Coin flip. Let's see who's ahead.
Well, I think the Lambo might finally have position, but that is again what we saw earlier, where David Payton would come in fairly hot into sunset, and he'd end up pushing wide on exit and losing a lot of exit speed there. But it looks like now after about 7 laps, David Payton has got it done, and maybe now Jacobs can get pulled along by the 64 machine back up to the 118.
And we'll see if he can. Lost a little bit in that exchange, but he's had some pretty good pace otherwise. So we'll see if these two now in this order can close up in the next 15 minutes and make a run here for second spot for Jeff Jacobs. Meanwhile, the Glover-Horvath battle hasn't changed in a bunch of laps, and still they aren't more than 3 or 4 tenths apart. So a couple of good battles here, and there they are. The Ferrari of Glover, the Lamborghini of Horvath, still doing the same they've been doing. Make their way around through that 10, 11, 12 complex, heading to Tower right here. And a long run down to Le Mans. It's a section of the track. I think Nick's got a bit of an advantage, but there's nowhere to go. It's one of the spots you just can't pass. Let's see their line as they come onto the Almond Straight. A little bit of a later entry for Glover. Let's see if he turns into an extra mile an hour, but pretty good run there for Nick Horvath. Let's see if he's able to do anything with it.
Yeah, he's still about a car length, almost 2 car lengths back, and this time Glover didn't make the break towards the inside to break the draft.
No.
He stayed driver's left.
Nice and tidy line again for Glover through Sunset Bend. Now let's see if he protects to the inside, as it looks like Horvath again has got a pretty good run on him, but he's not going to make the move this lap. This is good stuff. Glover just has to almost turn his mirrors down. If you look back, you're just going to make a mistake. And that may have been it right there, as he kind of bobbled a little bit going through 5. See if it's enough for Horvath to get a run as they go around Big Bend down towards the hairpin. Look at the protection line for Glover again. No room for Horvath to run on the exit. He's just already up underneath the rear wing, and now they've got what looks like Shane Larson coming up behind him.
Yeah, and Glover has been great going into the hairpin, Larry. He just positions the car enough that there's no way for Horvath to make an over-under there, and just gives him about a half a car width to the inside, gives him about a half a car width to the outside, and
Horvath ends up
choice.
Right on Glover's bumper as he comes out of the hairpin, but at that point there's nowhere to go.
Right.
It's like he needs to almost be a foot or 2 further back to use that momentum and not have to lift.
And try and get a run,
Yeah, and then get the run all the way up into 10, but he keeps doing it. I think he's a little quicker even through the entry of the Le Mans S's, but on the back side of the twosome, you really can't do anything with it. Let's see if he can get a decent run here. Glover's really good at getting that power down, though. You can see it there. Horvath already starting to get pulled on. Even with the draft, he's not as quick as Glover down the straightaway.
Yeah, as they come out of Le Mans, Glover almost immediately picks up about a quarter of a car length and maybe another half. But
Glover broke to the outside. That's going to be enough for Horvath to at least slip. Let's see if they stay side by side around and down the front straightaway. Horvath thought the opportunity was there. Glover may have lost the position, and he did.
Yeah, as the Lamborghini makes it around, I was a little concerned there as we saw Horvath blink out there for a moment that the two cars were going to end up right on top of one another. But great move there as Horvath is able to make the car stick down the inside, and Glover, as he got caught to the outside, Horvath did a great job of pushing that car wider, and there was just no way for Glover to get the power down as he was trying to keep the car off the wall, driver's left.
I think Glover might have made the mistake there of looking in his mirrors to check and see where Horvath was behind him as he went to the brakes and just shot a little bit too deep. I don't think he intended a brake out there, and because he hasn't been doing that. He's been taking kind of a middle-of-the-road braking zone going into Sunset Curve, and then, you know, nice tidy on the exit. Unfortunately for him, got caught deep. Luckily, didn't spin, didn't go too far. But now we're into the section of the track where Horvath is faster, and then you mix in with that. I believe that is... was that Bichette? Was that race leader?
The purple car is Bichette.
Yeah, race leader just going through there. So that, again, separates Horvath and Glover just a little bit for a moment. Now we'll see if we get to the section of the track where Glover can be faster. We'll see if he can gain that back up.
Well, Larry, we've got now less than 10 minutes remaining here as well. And so not a lot of time left as these drivers, as Horvath and Glover, battle it out for fourth position. And Jeff Jacobs has continued to stretch out the advantage that last time by. Jacobs almost 2 seconds faster than both of these drivers. As we jump even a little bit further up from Jacobs to our leader in GT3 AM, and that is Dre Divock, driver of the number 12 Porsche. And he's continued to stretch things out over Leo Dragata, as Dragata there towards the tail end of this shot, almost 3 seconds back.
Yeah, at this point, Divock can just sort of really just monitor the car. You know, don't heat the tires up too much. Make sure your fuel's in good shape, and just start hitting some marks. He's got that just good enough gap with 8 minutes to go that you're not having to corner worry about what's behind him. He's not in the position that Horvath and Glover are in right now. So for Divock, I don't want to call it cruise control, but you call it more just manage the race, get to the finish, as race leader Bichette now ducks to the inside as they head down into 7.
Yeah, you can't be any less aware, and you have to keep your focus up. You know, the moment you lose that focus, Larry, you end up like some of our other drivers, and you put the car around in the wall. So it's certainly not an easy ride for the next 8 minutes.
Don't talk about Bobby that way.
No, sorry, Bobby. Bobby's discussing his after crash drinks in the chat right now.
Drowning his sorrows.
Yes.
All right. Well, with Divock leading this, and Dragata now just a little less than 3 seconds back. He's got to have maybe only about 3 laps to go, maybe 4 laps for these guys to be able to try and make up for that. We'll see if that's enough to do anything. Horvath has now pulled up over a second gap on Glover. This is
it says a lot for how defensive the lines that Glover was taking, that he was able to hold Horvath off it through here. But you know, as I'm looking now, Mike Dam has stretched out his lead over his teammate Robert Hartley now at almost 12 seconds. And that last time by, Dam turns in a time that's only about 5/10 off of his fastest lap of the race. Hartley running fairly consistent laps still, but a couple tenths back almost every lap, and that makes the difference as we watch right now. Tom Bichette, our leader,
who we just watched him put Shane Larson a full lap down, currently in second place. So Bichette just kind of in that cruise control mode, hit the marks, find his way around, and to get this done, having a pretty solid race at this point.
Bobby says he's happy for us to finally to be the source of some meaningful commentary. Thank you, Bobby. Yeah, and
Bichette
and Larry, this also shows as Bichette did put Larson a lap down, that Larson didn't take that extra time in the pit stall to try and make the repairs that he needed there, and still the car not handling nearly as well as he would have needed it tonight to move to the lead. But but at this point, with Larson still up by a full lap on Palakui Grant, that if assuming he can get the car to the finish, he's going to lock up the GTP championship here this season.
Yeah, so that's right now, I'm sure what's going through Shane's head is just to keep it together, get another lap or so, finish this thing, and make sure you stay ahead of Palakui Grant, who both these guys have not had their their best stuff here tonight. Bichette is the one that brought his A game. He's just, even at the start of this race, he was maintaining that pace with Grant through that first 30 minutes or so. And when Grant ran into his issue, Tom was right there to pick up the pieces and jump all over it and assume this lead. So great job so far for Tom Bichette. Now with about 5 minutes to go, as we flash to Mike Dam, our leader in GT3 Pro, who's also had one of those nights where, there was traffic behind him for a while, just kept his nose clean, kept grinding away. As Rich Dibdall had said, how does this guy save fuel and go 2 laps longer than anybody else and still have the pace that he does? It's really a marvel to watch. Is Mike Dam leading the way, and going to be tough to knock out of the championship win here at this point.
Yeah, so a lot of these battles all coming to a head, Larry, and focus becoming a little bit more clear for those of us who have blurry eyes. As Mike Dam now opening up even a larger lead here, now 13 seconds over Robert Hartley.
Yeah, as he just put the 78 of John Casey down a lap, and I think in front of him that might be...
That's Preventus directly ahead of him.
It is. Who spent some time in the pits getting his repairs to his Ferrari after the contact that he had earlier, but he's up there now with a partly repaired Ferrari, about to go another lap down.
Yeah, Preventus currently 8 laps down, make it a 9.
All right, with that, there's 3 minutes left. I'm going to say probably 2 laps as race leaders. You can see him in the background there, Tom Bichette, about to come across to start his 39th lap. So he will probably get 2 more full laps before we see this checker. If we could flash maybe to the GT3 AM
I was just
category,
going to say,
things
Larry,
are getting interesting. First, we got David Payton having a spin, but the lead in AM is down to just a second and a half.
Yeah, if we take a look now, and here it is. This is the battle right here, heading into sunset. The battle of the 2 Porsches. We've got Dre Divock, who's just now exiting sunset, and there's Leonardo Dragata. That is the battle for the lead in GT3 AM, and as you mentioned, now Bichette now with about a lap and a half remaining here. We'll see if Dragata can close things down. That last time by, he was about 0.3 of a second, almost actually closer to 0.4 of a second faster than our leader Divock.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if Divock had a bit of an issue there, or potentially just got slowed up with some of the faster traffic coming up. Is right there. Dragata has, I believe,
that's Stephen May, I believe.
It is, yes. That's Stephen May going on by without a bonnet to his car, but making his way on through, which does open the gap just by a couple more tenths. But same thing will happen to Divock here in a few minutes when May catches him in the next corner or so. So this could work in the favor of Dragata if it at all slows up Divock trying to let the faster GTP car on through. Which I don't believe he needs to, because technically the blue flag would not be given for Dre Divock.
Class car, right?
Yes, and because Stephen May is so many laps down, it would not be a blue flag condition there to give to Divock. But it looks like May was able to get on by without too much interruption, a couple of tenths there.
Yeah, before they got into Le Mans, the gap now, though, is down to 1.6, so it has closed up a little bit, Larry.
Just a bit, and that's under 1.5 as Dragata finds a little bit of grass, doing a little bit of landscaping.
And Jeff Jacobs another 4 seconds back there in the Mercedes, waiting to sweep up the remains if needed there, as he sits 3rd in class currently.
We'll see if Dragata can hold this together, as we look like we've got a white flag in the air for all of these guys, certainly for leader Bichette and GTP, but now for the leader in GT3 AM, as Divock and Dragata have seen the white flag. Dragata knows he needs to find 1.4 seconds plus if he wants to catch Divock and try and take the win here in GT3 AM. It's Porsche on Porsche battle It's better than endurance racing with a couple of Porsches coming up to the last lap for a chance to win their class. You can see on the graphic there that Dragata's been picking up a couple of tenths per lap, as many as a half a second. He's going to have to gain a second and a half this lap, though, if he wants to catch Divock.
Yeah, there is a lot of ground to be picked up here as we jump back over to our leader, Tom Pichette, who's coming through the Sunset Bend right now for the very last time, Larry. And he is going to come across. He finished 57 laps down 2 weeks ago. Tonight, he is your winner at Sebring International Raceway, taking round number 7 here of the Ricmotech World Challenge. Your winner tonight, Tom Pichette. Shane Larson, when he crosses, will likely come home in second. Taking the win in GT3 Pro, it's Mike Dam, as his teammate Robert Hartley coming out of Sunset for the very last time now. He'll finish in second. And there's Shane Larson coming out of Sunset, and he's going to cross the stripe. He's going to finish second. But more importantly, Larry, he is your season number 6 champion in GTP. Congratulations to Shane Larson. Mike Dam takes that championship.
And Hartley looks like he's out of fuel.
Oh, and it might be. And I thought we saw Hartley come across the line, but I'm not positive, Larry.
I see a checker, so he may be.
Yeah, I think he did. So Hartley did cross, as did Maurice, and I think Maurice might be out of fuel as well.
These guys, Divock is just barely one more lap, and I'm telling you, Leo Dragata would have had it. Yeah, or might have had it. There you go. So Dam taking the championship in Pro and taking the win tonight in GT3 AM is Dre Divock, with Leonardo Dragata only 88 hundredths of a second back, and there are the two Porsches going side by side. They know they had a great battle tonight. Yeah. Jeff Jacobs will come home third in GT3 AM, and I believe, Larry, that should give the championship as he has now crossed the line to Baron Glover. I wouldn't call that yet, but you may be right. Let's wait and see what Kevin Ford and the points keepers do with all of that. It's going to be close because Glover came in with the points lead, about 11 points over Divock, but a 4th place position. Divock's going to get points for having led the race. Glover won't. So let's just see where that comes. Yeah. It's going to be awfully close, though. It's
going to be close. All right. So I will take your advice, Larry.
Don't do math.
And let's do this. Let's take another quick break. Thank some of our partners, and when we come back, we're going to talk to some of our podium finishers here tonight from Sebring, where you have just seen the season finale of season number 6 of the Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Performatech Select Graphics and Butt Kicker. And so we'll be right back.
Allow Extreme Scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit
And welcome back to Sebring International Raceway, where you've just seen round number 7 of the Ricmotech World Challenge, presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics and Butt Kicker. And let's go and review that finishing order once again, if we can. John, taking the win tonight here at Sebring. Tom Pichette takes the win in GTP. Shane Larson a lap down, finishing in second, but I think most importantly coming away with the championship in GTP. Palikoi Grant coming home in third, your pole sitter tonight. In GT3 Pro, Mike Dam is your winner with his teammate Robert Hartley finishing in second. Iago Mores comes home in third. And finally in GT3 AM, Dre Divock will take the win with one of the Dragatas, and we'll tell you which one. It's Leonardo Dragata taking home second place. Jeff Jacobs will come home third in GTP. So Larry, let's take a look. We've got the series admins trying to get all of our drivers lined up for a beauty shot. But in the meantime, we do have some of our drivers here waiting in the green room. Let's go and talk. We're going to start off first with Tom Pichette, who was our winner tonight at Sebring.
All right, so Tom Pichette has joined us, and Tom, what a race. Awesome. I think you're on mute, but what a race tonight. Your victory here. You just did all you needed to do. You were fast. You were consistent. Victory is all yours. Tell me what you're thinking right now.
Well, I tell you what, it's been a season of heartache and frustration at times for me, but to bring it home like this was really satisfying. When the last race of the season, I just recently got a P2 in the Sebring 12 hours, so a lot of practice and definitely benefited from that tonight.
Yeah, for sure. You had great pace first leg of the race. Grant had pulled out to a bit of a lead, but you were kind of hanging with him really well. And then, I don't know if you saw, but Grant had an issue there after the fuel stop. When did you realize that he was in the pits and you were about to assume that lead?
Well, honestly, I was so heads down in my own car for the first bit of the race. I was a couple of seconds down on speed and having some cornering issues after the early contact. So I didn't even know that I was on for a potential win until I was coming around and saw and heard my crew chief say the leader's in the pits, and that was the second time. So at that point, I figured something had happened, and when I finally made the overtake while he was sitting in the pits, I figured it was probably it for him, or at least his chances to win. So
yeah,
just had to keep my head down and keep it safe.
Yeah, you're in the lead. Is a long race, 75 minutes, and you've done the 12 hours. You know what that's like, but still, it's nerve-wracking. You're on the verge of getting your first victory here, but what is it like then trying to pass all the other cars, all the GT3s on those last couple laps though, and you just can't throw it away? You just got to finish. Are you just trying to be super careful with these guys and make sure everything's deliberate?
Oh, well, yeah, you always got to be deliberate and communicate well with your car. I knew I had a big enough gap that I could give the GT3s, favorable position through a lot of those corners and just let them take their line. And it worked out well. The GT3s are always are really good about traffic in this series.
Yeah, well, awesome stuff. You did everything you're supposed to do. You had the practice, you came in, you executed everything, and victory is all yours. And if I look at the point standings, looks like you're going to end up 1 point on the good side of a third place overall finish. So congrats on that as well. Yeah,
oh, wow.
Awesome stuff. But I got to ask, who do you want to thank, shout out for all this success tonight?
Oh, well, I definitely want to thank all the guys at Purple Sector Motorsports, my team, for supporting me and cheering me on. And thanks to Ricmotech for sponsoring the series, and thanks for everyone that helps to put this on. It's been a lot of fun, and I definitely appreciate it.
Well, congrats, success, well earned, excellent race tonight, and third in the championship. Tom Pichette, great job.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Tom Pichette, our winner tonight from Sebring. And Larry, Tom came into the evening 6th in the GTP championship, goes away with the bronze. Great run for him tonight. So let's do this. Let's bring in Shane Larson, finishing 2nd tonight in GTP, but I think most importantly, taking home the very first GTP championship in the World Challenge.
Shane Larson, you're on mute, but oh my goodness, what a crazy start from your qualifying troubles to then having to get through the field and having contact early, and clearly a car that did not want to be out there, but perseverance. You get enough points, you win the championship. What kind of emotions you got going on right now?
I mean, I don't even have words for this. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Yeah, I mean, whatever happened tonight happened. I can't go back and change it. This obviously is not the way any of us wanted tonight to go. But yeah, the car was totally just trashed. I choked qualifying so hard. My fast lap, I spun, and I've never gotten this message before, but apparently iRacing had enough of my spin and was like, you know what, your next lap not gonna count. So I couldn't get my second lap in at the end, and so had to start from the back. I knew it was a long race. I was gonna try and take it conservatively, but obviously others, and I guess myself too, I'm to blame. Did do that, but yeah, just was trying to keep the car going. I knew I just had to just go through the agony and just hope and pray, and I guess it worked.
Yeah, that car looked like a handful. You know, you're just watching your line coming off of the S's into the back straight there. Every lap doing a very different line than everybody else, and all we're figuring is that car just did not want to go where you wanted it to go.
Yeah, it felt like it was just Swiss cheese. It felt like it had holes everywhere. I'd swerved a few times just to see if there was suspension damage, and it seemed like the whole left front was just collapsed. Yeah, it was not a fun car to drive.
Unbelievable. But as the race progresses, and a lot of folks had a lot of troubles tonight, you kept finding yourself moving up and up and up those standings, and suddenly after Grant has his issues, you find yourself in second spot having to hang on for this. And I know you knew the math. You knew that's what you needed to win this championship, and you get it done. This has been one massive season of ups and downs, from the struggles early, a little bit late, but all those wins in the middle to secure you a championship, the first in the GTPs here in the World Challenge.
Heck yeah, I will gladly take that title.
Well, awesome stuff. It's been one heck of a season with you, and I'm sure you got some folks you want to thank for helping you win this championship.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, you guys putting on this amazing show, as always. Everyone at XMS, all the sponsors for the league, and then want to thank my team, obviously, for doing practice and being around, and then everyone who's come and watched. Not even just the people I know, but just everyone who's come and watched, and then all my fellow competitors for being on the same track as me. But yeah, it's not from me.
Yeah, incredible season for you. Congratulations again. Champion in the Ricmotech World Challenge in the GTP class. Congratulations on that, Shane. Great season.
Thanks. Have a good one, guys.
All right, there you go. Shane Larson, driver of the number 17, The Wrong Stuff GTP BMW, your Season 6 GTP champion. Congratulations to him and to all of our racers in that class. So, Larry, let's do this. Let's now move over to GT3 AM. We're going to bring in our second place finisher. That was Leonardo Dragata.
All right, Leonardo, one heck of a battle here tonight. You were battling everybody, but as the race came down to the end...
And Larry, it looks like Leo just decided to remove himself. Hold on a second. Let's try
Leo.
this again.
All the build-up. Leo, you there?
Yeah,
Hey, there you are. Great battling tonight. You looked like maybe one more lap and you were going to catch Trey for the win in the class. Boy, how did you have that much pace in that car at the end of that race?
I actually have no idea. The start of the practice, when I was practicing, the car was kind of felt it difficult to drive, and then I found the high downforce setup working for me, so I kind of switched to that, and it obviously worked. So, very happy.
Yeah, it's just incredible. You were just flying through the field tonight, probably one of your best races of the season, and just right there on the tail of the winner, coming across for that checkered flag. Awesome stuff. You mentioned the setup changes. Was that a late change just in practice today that you decided to go with the different setup?
Yeah, I just did a couple practice laps on it, and I found it way faster and way more safer than the setups I was using before.
Yeah, sometimes the safe setup works, and for you, it was even a great setup to come to the end of the race. You were the fastest of the GT3 AMs as the race came down to the very end. Awesome job there for you to come home there in second spot. Anybody you want to thank for the success tonight? You got any teammates you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody at this league. They're all so nice, and it's just been a very, very nice. It's been a very nice time just to talk and race with everybody. I also want to thank Lucas, my teammate, for doing this with me, and I want to congratulate Dre for that win. He's very fast this season. I think we're very good competitors, but I just want to give him congratulations.
Well, awesome stuff. Great job for you tonight, Leo. Second spot in the GT3M category. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. That was Leonardo Dragata from Dragon Sport Racing, and he has already removed himself from the channel. And Larry, that's the second time we've got to talk to Leo this season.
Yeah.
And it's also the second time that he has referred to Lucas as my teammate.
Oh, I love it. I just love it. It's
wonderful. All right, Larry, let's bring in now our winner tonight in GT3AM from the wrong stuff. It is Dre Divock.
All right, Dre Divock with you tonight. Man, one more lap and that kid Leo might have gotten you, but he didn't. You take the win in the AM class. One heck of a race. You had battles all over the place tonight. That looks like a lot of fun. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, I'm just going to start with let's effing go. Super excited about that. Yeah, man, there were some good battles out here. Guys were driving really good. It was fun to be wheel to wheel with some of these guys, and sometimes you have to pick your battles, right, and just kind of let them by or try to push. And Leo was super fast late. I'm looking at my times. I'm like, oh man, he's catching me quick, and I'm trying. I can't. My tires are kind of going off, and I'm just not able to keep up pace with them. And I thought I had it, and then I got slowed down by LP2 with about 2 laps left, and all of a sudden that 4-second gap went down to about 1.5. So I was like, all right. But luckily enough to come out with a W and back-to-backs.
Yeah, unbelievable. Just a great finish for you there with a couple of wins here late in the season. Looking at the points, it looks like you're probably going to end up second here in the points, but that's a successful season here in this World Challenge. That's a great result for you.
Well, thank you. I definitely would agree. I'm super pumped by the second, but somebody on my team decided to tell me if you didn't run out of fuel at Brazil, this might be different. I'm like, oh, thanks. I appreciate it, guys. It was a great season. You guys did an amazing job. It was just awesome.
Well, congratulations on the win tonight. Great job there, and on the second place in the championship. And I'm sure you want to thank some of those teammates, except maybe that one. You can thank the rest of them.
Yeah, I'm not going to thank Mike Weir. Thanks to everybody on my team, and then thanks to all our new sponsors, Abruzzi Racewear. What else did we just pick up? Another one too. Oh, Butt Kicker is now a sponsor as well. Yeah, so things are looking up for the wrong stuff. I'm excited to get a bunch of guys in this series next season.
Yeah, we're looking at the chat. Looks like some of those guys are going to suit up next season, so that's going to be great to see. But right now, tonight, the victory was all yours, and you did an awesome job pulling down that victory in second spot in the championship. Congratulations, Dre.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for a great season. You guys did an amazing job, as always.
Well, thank you.
All right,
take care, guys.
Dre Divock finishing with the win here tonight at Sebring International Raceway for the Wrong Stuff Racing. And Larry, that leaves us one more driver. Well, technically 2 more drivers to interview, but one more podium finisher here to talk to tonight, and that was our GT3 Pro winner. And I believe, if we have to spill the beans here, our GT3 Pro champion for season number 6, Mike Dam from Orion Racing.
Yeah, Mike, we've done the math. It wasn't hard to do. Championship is yours based on a lot of good results, but certainly solidified by this victory here tonight. I don't want to give you too much confidence, but that almost looked easy for you. What a great win here.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was a pretty good race for me. Kind of everything went to plan. Just try to be smooth and consistent. Save the tires, save the fuel. I knew it was going to be a long race, and there wasn't really going to be time to take tires. So, I was able to keep a comfortable gap. And that's all I wanted to do, and it went pretty well from there. So,
yeah, well, awesome job. You managed the race perfectly, get home the victory here, but you also secured another championship here in the World Challenge here in GT3 Pro. That's got to feel pretty good for you and the team.
Yeah, I'm happy. for that result. Honestly, Travis missed, this race, and he probably would have had the championship. So, yeah, it's good for us to take the top as a team. Awesome race from Rob tonight. Really happy to see that. Really solid performance. So, yeah, just awesome season. It's a lot of fun in these cars. So, yeah, just really good.
Yeah, well, it's really great. Just you guys are just absolute perfection, setting that benchmark once again. Whether it was Travis, whether it's you guys just dominating out here. It's amazing to watch. You really do set a standard for everybody. And one of these days, we'll get you to get excited about actual victories. But you're so calm and cool. It's amazing. Maybe that's the secret. You got to be calm and cool, start to finish, even in the interviews.
Yeah.
But anybody else you want to thank here for the victory and for the championship, Mike?
Yeah, just all the guys in the league. Special thanks to Travis. He does a lot of the setup work. I just used one of his setups tonight, so yeah, he puts a lot of work into this. So a lot of thanks to him. Yeah, just the guys in the league, the admins for putting this on, Kevin and Jeff. They do a really good job. Thanks to you guys for broadcasting all season to help make it what it is. So thank you.
All right, well, Mike Dam, congratulations again. Victory tonight and with a championship here in GT3 Pro in Season 6. Congratulations for that.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right, there you go. Mike Dam, our winner tonight. And Larry, as we've said multiple times, your winner in GT3 Pro this season. So, Larry, before we wrap things up, I want to bring in Jeff Jacobs, who not only is a great driver here in the series, but also is finished on the podium tonight as well. First off, congratulations, Jeff. But you're here for another reason as one of our series admins, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier. We've got a great giveaway from our new partner and sponsor this season, Butt Kicker. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely, yeah, we're really excited about this one and having the opportunity here to announce the winner of our Butt Kicker prize. We were so excited to have Butt Kicker come in as one of our sponsors, and they contributed one of their Gamer Plus systems, which as folks may know, these systems just add that next level of realism to the sim racing experience. And in fact, I think they're not just used for sim racing, but they're used in movie theaters and other types of attractions where you kind of want that tactile feel to add to the realism of the experience. And so we're really excited. And so what we did this season is, as the drivers earned championship points throughout the season, they got one entry into the random drawing. So Mike Dam, as one of the top point scorers, he had probably 200 and some odd entries into this. But
210, Jeff.
What's that?
210.
Yeah, 210 points. That was 210 chances that Mike had to win, for example, or Shane, Larson as the GTP winner. I think he had 212 points, right? So those guys had an advantage. But even somebody with, say, just 100 points still had 100 tickets, let's call it, into the random number generator there. So we put in the final championship points as soon as that final race ended. And I'm really excited to say that our new driver this season in the GTP class, Stephen May from May Force Racing, finished 4th tonight. I think he finished 4th for the season by just a single point, but he's going to have that Butt Kicker, the gift certificate, to take home. And I'll bet you that'll salve the soul a little bit there for that, falling 1 point short in that battle for 3rd place in GTP.
There you go. So Stephen May from May Force Racing, congratulations on winning the Butt Kicker. This is a $279.95 package from Butt Kicker. It's the Butt Kicker Gamer Plus unit. And congratulations on winning that. And yeah, hopefully it'll soothe his soul a little bit as he finished 1 point out of 3rd to Tom Pichette, who had that amazing run.
Yeah, we were excited to have Stephen join us this season. I think he had a good time there in the BMWs, and we're going to see if he can pop over here for a moment for an interview. But in the meantime, we're also really excited about the new series kicking off here in 2 weeks. We've got of course, the Mazda, the global Mazda coming back, always a popular car. But I think we have just a few more drivers signed up in the Toyota, the GR86. We're sitting right around 44 entries, and I think 50 is going to be the cap.
Wow.
So massive field, pretty evenly split between the two cars, and that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's right. That's for the new Touring Car Cup, what used to be known as the Classic Sprint Series, and again, going to be the Global MX-5 Cup cars as well as the GR86s. And if you'd like to sign up, because according to Jeff, we haven't hit that magic number yet, you can go to xmsracing.com/TCC-registration. And we definitely like to have you. Again, that's xmsracing.com/TCC-registration.
And of course, a week from now, we've got our championship race there in the sports car series, and that should be an exciting one too. Those GT4 cars, a lot of close battles, both in Pro and Am. And then of course, the TCR cars have been fun to watch all season.
Indeed, they have. So Larry and Jeff still waiting on Mr. May. Haven't had him appear yet. Should we give him a few more seconds to?
I think we'll give him another minute tonight. Tell you what, the race this evening pretty challenging as it always is there at Sebring. I'm sure you all talked during the broadcast. You take that heat, you take the bumpy surface, and then 75 minutes. I'll tell you what, I kind of feel like I may have spent a lot of that race bouncing around on the track myself.
We noticed that, and you had again, not for position in class, but it looked like you had a great little fight for an extended period of time there. I think with David Payton.
Yeah, it was so much fun, so much fun. Really clean racing out there, and a lot of that we were so evenly paced. It just came down to, boy, don't let me be the one who makes that big mistake. And unfortunately, David, I think, got himself caught on a curb there and spun out, and that was just enough to let me slip by him there. But a great pace tonight out there by a bunch of those drivers.
It was a lot of fun to watch, a lot of great battles going on all the way through. GT3 Pros had a couple battles, but the AM battles, oh my goodness, they were so great to watch. That's the ones you're going to want to go back and catch up on if you didn't get to see those. But really, this whole season's been fantastic with the GTP car now included here in the World Challenge, and I think it sounds like it's going to grow for next season, and it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think that's right. We really appreciate Frank Rico and the Ricmotech folks there for their support throughout the season. And it isn't even just about being the title sponsor of the series. They're always there and quick to respond when any one of our drivers are having a technical issue. They step right in and help out. So, and in fact, I had a chance to catch up with Frank and Jose Cabrera just a couple weeks ago. They were up here in Philly doing a special install for a gaming room up here. So that was pretty cool. And I see that Stephen has joined us there in the waiting area.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, there he is. So let's bring in Stephen May, driver of the number 50 Mayforce Racing GTP BMW winner, and let me see if I can get this set up, winner of our special prize from Butt Kicker.
Hello.
All right, Stephen May. It sounds like maybe not the result in the 75-minute race that you wanted, but the Butt Kicker prize is yours. Congratulations.
Hey, I thought I had bad luck. Now I may have good luck, so that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Not the race you wanted, but by sticking it out and hanging out in here, and Butt Kicker comes through with a great prize. It should be an awesome addition for you.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm really happy. I'm like, man, I have bad luck in racing sometimes, and then I got this luck, so it's good.
How do you answer that, Larry? Say, hey, your luck's turned around. Congratulations, Stephen May.
Well,
and
Stephen, we've been thrilled to have you joining the season. I think your rookie season with us here this year, but I hope you had a good time and a solid finish overall for the season.
Yeah, it's not last for a rookie, so that's pretty good.
Nice.
Well, it was a great battles all season long. I think you're going to end up fourth in the championship in a very tough class that sounds like as it goes forward is only going to grow even more. So hopefully you come on back and run another season with us, and hopefully you've signed up to run the Touring Car Cup as well. But either way, we'll see you down the road, and congratulations on that Butt Kicker prize.
Oh, thank you very much. This is a great format, and I learned a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, there you go. Stephen May from Mayforce Racing, finishing 4th in the GTP Championship, but most importantly for tonight, taking home a $279.95 package from sponsor Butt Kicker. So, Jeff, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for all you do for XMS Racing and for the different Ricmotech leagues. Obviously, both you and Kevin Ford make our jobs a heck of a lot easier here behind the mic.
Well, that's great. You all do a terrific job, and we really appreciate your support and the work that goes into these broadcasts.
All right, there you go. Jeff Jacobs, not only one of our admins, but a great driver as well. Driver the number 38 Mercedes AMG GT3. And so, Larry, why don't we wrap things up here from Sebring and the season finale? And I think Jeff gave away the farm there a little bit. Let's take a look at the events that we've got coming up in the next few weeks here. And hopefully John can bring that graphic up for us.
Well, the good thing is we don't have to go very far for next week's track.
No, we don't, because we're going to be here at Sebring once again for the finale of the sports car series. Those are GT4 and TCR cars, 60 minutes, a little bit shorter format than tonight, but join us next Monday night, same time, 8 p.m. And then in 2 weeks, we are going to be, and this is May 1st, we are going to be at Suzuka for the inaugural season of the Touring Car Cup, our MX-5 and GR86 drivers. And again, if you'd like to join, you can go to xmsracing.com/TCC-registration. And then May 8th, we started all over again, Larry. Season number 7 of the Ricmotech World Challenge. We're going to open things up at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta for a 75-minute race. And although we haven't opened up registration yet, if you want to join, if you liked what you saw here tonight, you want to race GT3 cars or the GTP cars, go to xmsracing.com/RWC. And you can, we'll have the admins contact you when we open up registration. So for Larry McLeod, for John Robertson, I'm Greg Ginsburg, and we'll see you next Monday night, 8 p.m., once again from Sebring. Have a wonderful week, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.